Hello, Scouts. Hello, everyone. Happy Jota Joti. I see a lot of you are coming in. I'll wait a little bit more for those who are running slightly late, maybe a couple of minutes, and then we can start with our session and getting you all started with blockchain. Hope you are excited as I am. Cool. All right. I think we can start slowly with some introductions. So let's not be strangers. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Mihailo. I'm a director of digital and information technology for the World Organization of the Scout Movement. I work at the Global Support Center in Kuala Lumpur. And for the past many years, I've been on the helm of the World Scouting's digital transformation efforts. And I have been recently awarded a Ethereum Foundation Fellowship to join a latest cohort of the innovators making use of blockchain technologies and the Ethereum platform for public good. And let me tell you, I'm very honored to be here. This is my probably 25th Jota Joti in life. I've been joining Jota Joti since the start of my scouting life and in different capacities as a member, as a participant like you, or as a leader, and later on now as also one of the organizers. So I'm really excited to be sharing this with you. So let me tell you what we will be doing in the next 40 and maybe 45 minutes. We go a little bit over time. But okay, so what we will try to understand. We will also check here. First, we will check a little bit our knowledge, see where we are, what we know about blockchain, just to get a little bit of idea, to get everybody going. And yeah, so that will be the first thing we will do. Then we will look a little bit into Web 3.0 evolution. So what does this Web 3.0 that everybody talk about is, and try to demystify this a little bit for everyone. This is important because before we jump into the blockchain, we would like look to in this Web 3.0, which is actually, blockchain is actually a cornerstone in a sense for the Web 3.0 and in the foundation of it. So then we will, of course, look into technology a little bit, but not too much. Don't worry, this is an essential, basic, just introductory information. And then we will look into some use cases of the blockchain. There is a lot of use cases. We will briefly mention something about digital wallets and invite you to explore that a little bit more and install a wallet of your choice. But we'll also give an introduction of one of the most used wallets in the market. And I will share with you a little bit more. Where can you learn more? Maybe you want to become a blockchain developer. That's a future calling if you want. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, during this session, you will have a chance to earn first official World Scouting NFT badge. We will also have some time for Q&A, of course, if you have some questions. Okay, are we ready? Can I see some thumbs up? Yeah, ready. Oh, I see hearts, thumbs. Good. Okay, let's go then. So let's start with first with a little with the Slido. So I will share us another window just to make it slightly easier. Okay, so I can also play that. Let's start with Slido. Let's see, everybody, if you can take your phones, you can scan this code and join me in the Slido little quest to understand a little bit how much we know, and then we'll check that also a bit later. And then also, if you can, you can. If you don't use if you don't use your phone, you can go also to slido.com #scoutsweb30, and you will also get the same. Okay, good. Start. Do you know what blockchain is? Simple question. It's just a poll. I just want to see how many of you feel like you know what blockchain is. So let's see. So I see 15 of you have already joined Slido. Maybe more will join. Let's see. Okay, 20 people. Oh, so no, a bit. That's all right. There are some people still who know. Yes, it's all divided. Nice, interesting. We'll fill in some holes here. Okay, good. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Next question. So this is like just a word pool. So question is, what is the first thing you think when you hear the word blockchain? NFT. Okay, we'll be looking into NFTs as well. Bitcoin. All right, that's good. Community work. Nice. I love that. Web 3.0, Mihaila. Coordination, cryptocurrency. Wow, nice stuff here. Oh, I see that I definitely have some experts in the call. That's good. Making me nervous. Not really. It's good. Trust. Wow, nice. Nice. Very, very nice. A lot of interesting words. A lot of you think of NFTs first. This is really good. We'll be looking into NFTs as well. Confidential. I like that. Centralized. Yes. Nice. Nice. Good energy use. Okay, that's a good one also because we'll talk about that. Ecosystem, mystery, volatile. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Co-op. Nice. DAOs. That's good. Perfect. I love this. Excellent. Okay, let's move to the next one. Let's check a little bit knowledge now, because I see you know a lot of things. I see that you have memory of a lot of things. So let me tell me what is it. Is this true or false? A user can alter data on blockchain. Okay. Okay, let me see a little bit more and then I'll show the correct answer. 65% thinks that it's possible and 35 think it's not. Okay, maybe now is the time to see the correct answer. The correct answer is that this statement is false. A user cannot alter data on blockchain. Okay, that's all fine for we'll learn more about this. Maybe a little bit more what we can use enterprise blockchain or any blockchain. Like you have a couple of options here just to get a little bit an idea. There's a lot more use cases here, more than thousands. We'll look into some. I just want to see all of above. Yes, that's good. I like how you all think of it. That's good. Okay. Good. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. Let me go back to the presentation. Okay. So let's continue with it. So now that we've seen a little bit how we know, let's talk about Web 3.0, yeah, a little bit. So we talk about web evolution here, and a little bit how the internet have evolved over the years. So on this timeline, you can see the evolution of internet. In a sense, you can see that, yes, the first internet, believe it or not, some of you didn't know, started in 1970s as a project, military project. It was just a kind of a scientific thing and used in the military use. And it took about 20 years for people to create what we know today as a World Wide Web or internet as we know it today, more or less. Well, it also evolved further on, which we will talk about in a bit. But yeah, that was basically the start of the commercialization, putting into a public use or turning it into sort of a public good and offering it to civilian use and public. So in 1995 is actually maybe a year where we mark a start of the Web 1.0, and we'll look in a second why that, and like when we compare them a little bit. In 2005, there is something happened in 2005. So you can see 95, for example, Explorer. So basically we started looking into websites and search engines, information. like one-way kind of thing. In 2005, there's like, that goes for what? For social media, of course, social media site expansion. And in 2018, this is what we often consider as a start of the Web 3.0. Of course, year up or down, some experiments were done earlier, of course. So let's compare a little bit this, how it looked like, just a reminder for some of you. So again, also like Web 1.0, you will probably, maybe some of you remember some of these brands. Some of these brands don't exist anymore, or are very not so big, if you like. This was read-only kind of a static web. And you could see also in the Web 2.0 the expansion of read and write interactive contents. All of this is interactive and engaging. Requires you to create an account, and engage with a site, and also be a contributor to the whole thing. So you write also, you not just read, but you also write and you respond and react on the content, interact. In Web 3.0, this is read, write, trust, verifiable. So we'll look in a little bit more about that. But again, I mentioned just a little bit more read-only. That was the Web 1.0 was read-only. Then you remember, like, we had a webmaster, it would create a website, so it was very centralized, information control. Like, this is what information is, and we as a users would just read this information. That's pretty much furthest we could go in these years, in this phase of the evolution of the web. If you look, I made just a little briefing of what scouting was in that time, just for World Scouting was at that time. So you can see here some screenshots of the websites. The first website on the top, the white one, is the first World Scouting website. The black one is the second, and then there was several iterations until 2007. The purple one you see in the corner, these were all websites without much of interaction. They were all basically information-only websites. Okay. In Web 2.0, this is the era we live today. Yeah, basically we have also webmasters, but we have also internet surfers and contributors, us, who always like interact with the content, with the websites. But there is even more. There are also being like the sort of APIs and RSS feeds, and we are all getting all of this information. And then how the World Scouting look today? Well, actually, the site, you could see the site is now different, but the reason I put this screenshot of the website, it is for us, it marked in 2013. We also, as a World Scouting, engaged into something called user-generated content evolution. So we also, if you, like some of you again, if you were active at the time of born or joined the Scouting since then, in 2013, we created our first World Scouting user-generated content-based website where you could create your own account. And there was some experiment in 2012 with Messengers of Peace website, but in 2013 is when we merged and fully onboarded everybody. Everybody today can create an account on Scouting. You did when you joined Joti. And you could interact with the website. You could post, share your community projects on currently this is now on the SDG hub. So anyway, the World Scouting ecosystem, I could actually show in that picture, is really huge with a lot more platforms than the Scout.org. But often we feel it's only Scout.org, but it's actually a lot of more platforms here where you can interact, where you can log in and interact with directly. What about, we talk about Web 3.0, this is all about decentralizations, yes, the NFTs, metaverse, voting, like there are a lot of use cases of this, the blockchain, which is underlining technology of the Web 3.0. And yeah, what our World Scouting answer will be, well, we'll start with this, but we will go much further. And today, actually, at this workshop, also mark this moment and start. We will have our first green NFT badge. So green, why green? Because it is based on the Ethereum network, which is one of the blockchain networks. But this one is important because this is the one we choose because it's considered green, because it's using a different protocol comparing to most of the others. It's a brand new protocol, a new layer, a new protocol, which is basically moving from proof of work, which we will talk about, to proof of stake. And that means no more mining is needed. I seen some of you mentioned mining in the slide or so. This is something that will not be required anymore with this new concept, and we will basically be all we will be saving the environment because of that, and it's actually saving energy consumption for 99.98%, believe it or not. So very green and environmental friendly concept here. Okay, right. Let's dive into the blockchain technology a little bit. Okay, are you ready for a short video? 2 minutes, very interesting video, which will hopefully make you a little bit laugh, and it's actually fun. Fun one, explaining blockchain, and then we will of course go a little bit more into explanations, so you can understand a bit more. Oh, I see a lot of hearts. Good, thumbs up, ready. Okay, well, tune in. Hold on, let me just check that everything is all right in terms of, yeah, the sound. Yes, hopefully it'll be fine, but give me some thumbs during the video to know if you like it. Okay.
Let me tell you a short story about a little fellow called Jacob. Since he could remember, Jacob always wanted to get a blue cat, but his parents were always finding ways to not get it for him. So, one Christmas, he figured out a way to finally get his dream pet. He would send his wish to Santa. Oh, how excited he was when he wrote the letter! But Jacob was too young to take the letter to the post office by himself, so the next morning he had to ask his dad to do it for him. You could say that his dad was the middleman between Jacob and Santa. He never imagined that on his way to the post office, his dad would open the letter, read it, and replace the blue cat on the list with a brand new pair of socks. The letter was posted to the North Pole, to Santa and the elves. When they received it, they started working right away, making Jacob's gift. So that year, Jacob received an adorable pair of socks. But next Christmas, Jacob decided to use the blockchain. Jacob wrote exactly the same letter, but instead of giving it to his mum or dad to deliver, he directly uploaded it to the North Pole blockchain. The North Pole blockchain is made up of a lot of computers connected to one another through the internet that all store a copy of everyone's Christmas list. The network is being monitored at the same time by all the elves, Santa himself, and even people like Jacob's parents. Every time a new letter is received, it is saved onto every individual computer, so everyone has the exact same copy. As the blockchain is an open network, everyone can see all the letters, even though it's impossible to know to whom each one belongs to. But when Jacob's parents saw that there was a letter asking for a blue cat, it wasn't hard for them to know that it was from Jacob. So, once again, they changed it, this time for a cookbook. But as every other node had a copy of Jacob's real letter, the change was spotted, and the computer trying to make the change was cut off from the network, meaning Jacob's real letter remained unchanged. So, guess what Jacob received that year for Christmas?
Okay. I hope you liked this video. I see a lot of hearts. Yes, smiling, laughing. Okay. I hope the blockchain, for those who have not known much about it, is now a little bit more demystified. Help Jacob get what he wanted, and no censorship by or interference by parents to get what they actually wanted to get. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit more. So what blockchain is not? Blockchain is not Bitcoin. It's important to say this. It's not only about cryptocurrencies. Blockchain is really a massive technology. It is a technology behind Bitcoin, truly, which is Bitcoin, for those who doesn't know, one of the digital tokens. yeah, it's one of the digital tokens, so forgive me. And the blockchain is a ledger to keep track of who owns the digital token. So it's one of the use cases, one of the cryptocurrencies only, but it's not really all about blockchain. Huh? You can't have a Bitcoin without blockchain, but you can have a blockchain without Bitcoin. So that's important to understand. The technology just behind Bitcoin, but also behind many other things. Maybe a bit more on definition. So blockchain is a public network of computers or all hosting, maintaining, and creating new blocks of data that are chained together using a cryptography. In Scouts, we use cryptography sometimes to make these secret letters and treasure hunts, and probably you have tried that and you have experienced that as a Scouts to use different type of cryptographies. So this is actually something you should be familiar with in a bit. This allow us to keep immutable ledger of entire history of events that happen on the network. So ledger, like the directory database of all the that is not tamperable, so nobody can change this, nobody can influence this. That when it once it's entered, it is immutable. Okay, maybe also to better understand this further on is to compare two types of databases. So we know about these traditional centralized databases, you know, where we have in the middle, you can see there's a server and we are all accessing to that server via internet, and we are getting the websites and information and downloading it on our computer. Our browsers are reading this information for us, and that's how we see content in the websites or anything else. So this is like a centralized system where point of failure it's higher because it's a one point of failure. So if that one server is down, we have something which we probably all seen sometimes. You go into some website, is just like a server cannot be found or something like that. It's because this server is started or blocked or have some problems and cannot be reached. So that's already a problem. So it depended so much from these unique like servers which are in the cloud or somewhere. So this is a centralized typical database, yeah. And there is an administrator. What is also we know about it, there is an administrator, someone who can have access to the server and to databases and can change things. Yeah, with administrative permissions, he or she can change everything. What is different, on the other hand, with the blockchain, we have a distributed ledger. So distributed information. Information is distributed. There is no middle. There is no middleman, if they like to say, or there is no a server that hosts all the information. Actually, the information is spread in a blockchain, so among all of the users. We'll look into that in a second or so, but just to understand. So blockchain is also it's a type of structure or database that store transactional records, also known as blocks. That's why you see these little blocks. On the public, it's all hosted publicly. So in several databases known as the chains. So this is why it's all in the chain. They're all connected to peer-to-peer nodes. Typically, the storage is referred to as a digital ledger. This is what we also often refer to as a digital ledger. Every transaction in this digital ledger is authorized by digital signature of the owner, which authenticated transaction and safeguarded from tampering. Hence, the information on the digital ledger is contained is highly secure. Yeah, it's very important. Every single block of these contain a signature of the owner, and signature, we'll talk about it in a bit, is something called hash, and it's quite complex, and it's also not easy to tamper, obviously. In simple words, digital ledger is like a Google spreadsheet shared among numbers of computers of the network, in which the transactional records are stored based on the actual purchases. So that fascinating angle here is that nobody can see, that anybody can see the data. So you can see all the transactions. This is very important for the blockchain. Everything is transparent. You can see everything that happened, but you cannot corrupt it. I was talking about this, so the blocks are connected. And you can see the block one, like that's a primary block, would have a hash and the previous hash, but in this case it will be always 000 because the first block, and then we have a block block 2 in the chain that would have his own hash, his own signature of the owner of that block, and the previous hash contained as well, combined. And then it would, and then block 3 would have a previous hash. As you can see, the numbers 914Z1. So this is, and then it would have, it would have a previous hash and it would have its own hash, 8Y5C9. This is from the previous hash. So it's like that connected into this. So we talk about these hashes, what the hashes are. The hashes are code essentially that are acting as a digital fingerprint for the blockchain. And what we call hashing is a process of taking an input of any length and turning into a cryptographic output through a mathematical algorithm known as a hashing algorithm. Most blockchain use SH256 hashing algorithm, which produce a 64 character long hash code. So it's a very complex, you see, this is very complex and secure hash algorithm. So there is an input data, some information, then it's going to the hashing algorithm. So it's a complex algorithm that will basically provide an output hash. Okay, maybe just briefly, I can show something that another thing from the presentation actually that would maybe a little bit explain hash, how it will look like. So I also invite you to use this website. We will be using it a bit more. Called Eat Build. And this is an educational website for you to play and learn about programming and building blocks in understanding how Ethereum works, how the blockchain works in general. So I'm going to show briefly here. You can click on build and it will open a building structure where you can do different type of things. This is just an example of one. So you can see, you can actually, let me clean this if I can. Yes, I'll clean it all. Yeah, and then we'll try to make one simple hash. So here you have all different content, different objects that you can add. And then, for example, we'll try a simple text. Yeah, we will need, actually, I will put all the things we need. We will need a hash. We will need a text. So we'll need to find some simple text. So you can find text, some of these, okay. Or all kind of different information. You can like upload something, download something. You can also like play with this yourself. Just a second, I will add a text. Revert back. Okay, hold on. Just missing out here. I will reload. Oh, sorry, it was hiding behind my Zoom icons. I was like, what's going on here? So text. Yeah, then we need maybe some like text area, maybe just for like fun. Or we can just have another text. We will combine it too. We'll maybe create a combine. So you can play here with different blocks and learn a little bit how things work. So you can connect this to an input in hash, and you can get, for example, another. I'm just going to do the simple one just to show you. So you type some text, for example, Scouts creating better world. And it's then, you can see here, this is then basically the hash. You can then move to that. You can create a string from that, or the address. for example, and yeah, you can do a lot of interesting things. Yeah, this is something you may be seen if you've been already in the blockchain, like an address where you can go send someone. You can, yeah, you can create a combiner. Actually, let me do that. Like, hold on. You can play with encrypt and decrypt. This is also very interesting and learn a lot of things. There are also videos about this, so you can yeah, you can see that all. Hold on. Yeah, you can see that all if you go back to build. You can learn more. There is a lot of videos here, and you can learn a little bit more about the hash function and how you can create more. How you can create a hash function. So just in an interest of the time, I'll move on with the presentation, but that's the essence of it. You can like play here in this eth.build and learn more about hash. Okay, let me continue the presentation. Okay. So we talk about hashing. There is also something called consensus algorithm. So this is important. This is people talk about green or not. So in the past we did use the proof of work, but moving forward, the Ethereum is now built on proof of stake, and this is where we're going to be doing our things. We will be creating apps. We will be creating NFTs and everything using this algorithm. So you saw the algorithm is important to create the hash. So in the past, miners with a huge computer power, and not in the past only, it's still currently with the proof of work, all the networks that use proof of work, like Bitcoin, for example, they are still mining, and you know there is a need of huge computer power components to solve math in the blockchain, and then hacker would need a computer with 51% more power than the whole network in order to break this. So you see, it's very complex and very hard for someone to hack this, and that's why it's so secure. The first miner who solved the mathematical problem of the algorithm will receive a reward for this work. And this is why we have miners. Yeah, that's how people earn money. But again, it's not friendly for the environment. So we as Scouts are not so much interested about this. But let's see, and the proof of the stake is a little bit different story. So there is no compensation as the block. And so like similar concept, there is no compensation as the block creator is chosen by the user stake algorithm. So it is just a differently chosen. And I'll show that in the process in a second. It's randomly chosen, not based on this. It's just chosen from everyone who is staking in the network. The user is chosen automatically to the algorithm, and then there is no rewards, but the creator or the ones who are staking can get the transaction fee. So this is also a way to earn, but not by mining. And here also is quite safe. The hacker would need a computer with 51% more. No, this is actually not correct, but it will have to have 51% of the stakes. So we'll have to have control of the 51% of the people on the network, which is impossible. Yeah. How does it all work together? So just a quick process here, and then we'll look into some use cases, and specifically on the NFTs, for example. So a transaction is requested and from a computer, then is broadcasted to peer-to-peer network of nodes, so through the different network of the blockchain nodes connected, and that's where then it goes in the blockchain. As you see, then there is a validation moment. The network of nodes validating transaction following the protocol. So they use that protocol we talked about, proof of stake, and validate the transaction information is correct. So this is everything is all right. And then there is no tampering, there is no attempt, because if there is tampering, they will just, as you remember from the video, they will just take it out from the network. So it won't be passing the validation. So once it passed the validation, verified transaction, then, for example, can be we talk about transactions. So just to be clear, this could be any digital asset, it could be anything, an information or anything like that. It doesn't have to be a currency per se. Once this transaction is verified, it becomes part of the new block for the ledger, and that new block, as you remember, is packed into the blockchain, and then the next blockchain will inherit the hash, and then once it's in the blockchain, the transaction is complete. The other and the user of the blockchain, the one accessing, also will get this information. All right, that's pretty much about blockchain, but we're going to jump now a little bit into the use cases. And one of the most familiar use cases, and one we will maybe briefly touch now, and there is so much more, and we can't even for the time of this event talk about all the use cases, but we'll touch and clarify a little bit and demystify the NFTs. So what does NFTs are? NFT stands for a non-fungible token, and it is one kind of a digital asset belonging exclusively to the owner and existing on the blockchain, meaning a digital ledger. So meaning it exists only on the blockchain. So this could be any digital asset and that we mint. Maybe mint. When we say we mint, it means we put it on the blockchain. So once we put it on the blockchain, the one who put it on the blockchain using his own hash, if you remember, is then the owner of this NFT, and he or she can pass on this this NFT to someone else if he wants, who can give it away or sell it. Most famous place to create your NFTs, if you like, or to start with the NFTs, it would be OpenSea.io. So this is the website where we will also have our first collection of the NFTs, the World Scouting NFTs. Those are the ones that you not necessarily can take on, but you can see them, and they won't be the first collection. The number of them won't be for sale or anything, but there might later on be some which are on the auction for some great project that we want to do. But that's not the NFT that you will all get here. So we'll talk about it in a few minutes only. So how to get your NFTs. I hope you're still patient. So there are many blockchain real world use cases. I mean, this is one graphic I borrowed just to give you an idea. There is so much there. There is NFT blockchain usage in a big company Maersk, as you probably heard, a Danish company using it for shipping to better trailing a block, like to understand better, to better control the logistics. There is a use case in journalism, decentralized journalism, enabled by blockchain, has potential to prevent censorship, for example, and increase the transparency. And there is a particular company which is trying this use case. So you see there's all different use cases here, carbon offsets, enterprise, real estate, healthcare. For example, there is a company which is exploring into how to store data on the blockchain that is being, that the health data can be stored on the blockchain safely. So it's kind of also safe, and also privacy is also preserved, but we can still understand the numbers behind and situation and movement. So this is important. Identification, in governance. So there is a lot of use cases. There is an option, for example, with the one system called DAOs to create voting systems which are also untamperable. So imagine a perfect voting systems that no one can tamper. That's also possible with the blockchain. So there are a lot of these cases, and we will see expansion in the next years of these, and we will see more and more people using this. More and more people exploring use cases and figuring out how to do some good things with it, or make some business. Yeah. So the next thing, maybe briefly, we can talk about digital wallets. So there are many digital wallets on the market. And what do we use digital wallets for? We use digital wallets for we use it for many cases. This is where we can keep our currency, for example, if we use any currency in the cryptocurrency that we talked about. So Ethereum, blockchain, Bitcoin, or any other. The wallets work on different networks, so this is very important. You have to choose which network you want, and there are multiple wallets which allow multiple networks. So Ethereum blockchain based networks, and sub networks and side networks, and then same for Bitcoin, etc. maybe the most famous digital wallet, and I would those of you who is not familiar or doesn't have a digital wallet, I recommend you to create one after this session. It takes only a few minutes. One of the most famous one is the MetaMask. So we can, and MetaMask is the wallet that actually exists in all browsers. It works also in your computer as an application and also on your mobile. So you can create a secure wallet there. Maybe you can watch a quick video about MetaMask. Oh, sorry, no, this is the wrong slide. Oh, hold on. Oh, something. Yes, okay. I need to share other screen. Okay, we will start with this one. Hold on. Okay, let's introduce. Let's see this very short video about MetaMask mobile app. So, and again, we're inviting you all to install your digital wallet if you didn't. You don't have to do it with MetaMask, but MetaMask is one of the most famous.
Using MetaMask Mobile, your gateway to the new web, an account manager and wallet all in one, where you have total control over your assets, identity, and data. Discover the decentralized internet, anywhere, anytime. Keep your crypto assets organized in one wallet across your accounts. Easily sync with MetaMask for desktop. Add funds to your wallet. Send and receive borderless payments with your friends and family. MetaMask is here for everyone. It's Web3 in your pocket.
So as you can see, you can download it in the app stores and Google Play. So I recommend you to try with this one. Maybe this is a good one for start. Oops, sorry. The video's continued. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation as we're approaching to the end of the presentation and to the most exciting moments. I just want to share with you where you can learn more. Please make a screenshot of this slide if you can. I'll give you a minute. This is website. This is some recommendation for you where you can learn more. Of course, also feel free to explore it on the YouTube. There are different interesting videos about blockchain, how to like do different things in the blockchain, how to start from the basics to the more advanced things. You can also learn how to program in the blockchain using one of the most famous languages. And here, for example, there are some things for you. So with the ETH build that I just showed you, which is important for our next task actually, is where you can play with the sandbox. You can create, again, play and learn a little bit visually how things work and in Ethereum. You can also do some Web3 game-based learning on the Ethernaut. There's a link there also, and or you can learn how to build more on Ethereum on the speedrun the Ethereum.com. So these are important places to continue your exploration. So before we go into the NFT, I want to see if I have some interesting question. We'll go a couple minutes above the time, but that's presumed fine. So let's look at some questions. See, there is question. We cannot see a screen. That was maybe in the beginning, but I think it's all right. Looks okay for me. Yeah, I think, do I have a thumbs up? The screen is okay. Okay, I see there's a lot of you asking for the code. I will share the code on the end. But more importantly, you will have a chance to get your first NFT, which is more exciting than the code. You will be able to, there's a question, will I be able to watch this meeting later? Yes, correct. We will have a recording, save for those who cannot attend. It's a difficult time. So in terms of time zone, so many of scouts around the world cannot watch it, so they can watch the recording and also get their NFT. I have a question here. What can you use to store cryptocurrency? You can use MetaMask. There's a question from Griffin. So when I create a new wallet, what are the words that I can see and what should I do with them? That's a very good question. So you will see this. This is your recovery phase when you create a wallet. It's a very important one. When you create a wallet first time, you will see some words which are very important to save and keep keep it very secure. Ideally, you would write them down or print them off and then delete the document and put them somewhere very safe, separately from your computer. Especially if you plan to keep some values on your wallet. This is important because if you ever change, computer or a place where you're accessing your wallet, like phone or something, well, you will need this recovery phase, recovery phrases. So it's very important to keep this somewhere safe. I see a question. Hello, good morning, Fridesh. Will every Scout member who participate in Voice get the blockchain, or you will have a chance to get the NFT. You will so you will join, you'll be able to learn about blockchain. Can we make NFT for change the certificate of the event? Yes, that's a good one. So that's a good idea, because actually this NFT will also prove you've been on the Jota Joti, so instead of your certificate. So it's also an evidence that you have been on the Jota Joti. But in the future, we look into that. And that's also one of the interesting use cases for the blockchain, that to verify the certifications, for example, for the schools, universities, or in courses or anything. How do we get our NFT? Well, in a few minutes, I'll explain that. What's the challenge code? I will share the code. Okay, this is interesting questions. Thank you all. Okay, that will be all from the questions for now that we can answer with the time. So now is the moment of truth. So the thing you're all been waiting for, how to get your first World Scouting Green NFT badge. So here is what we do. You need to do something, of course. It's always an adventure with scouting. It's always a little type of a treasure hunt or something to discover and do. So you can go to this URL, jotajoti.info/eatbuild, or you can scan this QR code, but then you will be on the mobile, and mobile, it's also possible to use eatbuild on the mobile, but it's slightly more difficult. What will happen then? Let me show you this. So we are all on the same page. You will see something like this. This setup will be there for you. Don't disconnect anything, because if you do that, then you have to connect it again and figure it out. Also make a screenshot of this in the case you want to, in the case you by mistake disconnect something. And what you need to do as a scouts, because this QR code, if you scan now, will not take you anywhere. Yeah. What you need to do is you need to put a text input here, so that your text input that will then go to the hash algorithm and a couple of other things and combine, and will combine with different information here that you can see, and it will provide an actually correct QR code. So if you see I start typing something here, scouts, your QR code is changing. So what you need to type here in the text field is Scout motto, all small caps with a space between two words. I think you all know what's the Scout motto. Can I see the thumbs up if you all know what Scout motto is? Okay, Scout's motto is good. I see some thumbs up, so I think you all know. So if you type here the Scout motto, then you should get the right QR code, and it will take you to the NFT, to the place where you can claim your NFT. And you can input there your email or your Ethereum address if you already have it, and you'll be able to get your first NFT. So don't forget, type there the correct text, and you should be able, with the QR code here, to scanning QR code with your camera to get to your first NFT. Okay. I think that's it. For those of you who are thinking about what is, I will give a little bit of help. What was the word I need to type in? What is the Scout motto? I'll just give a quick reminder. It's be prepared, of course. But yes, looking forward for you to try all of these. So just again, I will also, for those of you who haven't done this, I'll share again the URL you need first, and then that should be all. Hold on just a second. Yeah, this is the URL. You go to jotajoti.info/eat.build, and there you have all the setup to play with and to place place what you need. And to get your first blockchain, first NFT. Okay, no more time. I think we are a little bit over the time, so I will stop sharing now. And I think hopefully you enjoyed, and you will be able to get your president. I see that there is one more question that that some of my colleagues asked, so I'll answer that one because it's an interesting one. How can we use blockchain for social good, impact, or community? There is many use cases. There is something called DAOs, for example, which is in a blockchain, a community in a blockchain. Everybody has an equal vote, right? Then there is also an option, and then that is a community. I'll invite you to explore a little bit more, but this is, thank you, Monse, for sharing the challenge code. I forgot to put it on the presentation. So yeah, in the chat, you can all see the challenge code. And yeah, blockchain can be used a lot for social good and impact in communities. Like, for example, you can use blockchain in for crowdfunding. So you could all using a cryptocurrency or basically crowdfund for some projects, decide together jointly on certain, like, as in using this DAO community that I briefly explained. You can vote, for example, together, and like the ones that you, when it's the majority, when it's like you can reach, you can get the, you can decide which projects you want to support with together. So a lot of use cases. Again, you can create databases of things. For example, UNICEF is creating a database of schools around the world so that they can bring them all on the internet, and they are doing that with the help of blockchain. Some of my colleagues from the fellowship, from the cohort that I'm now part of, they have amazing projects. For example, a project on supporting housing, loans for housing for people who have no houses and no chance to get access to the banking, to get loans from the bank, so they could actually access this other system, basically, which will through the blockchain, and would allow them to get a loan to build their initial housing. So there is a system holistically about it. But yeah, maybe in some future workshops, because there's no more time, we'll look a little bit more into this and how what are the use cases. And actually on the workshop later on for the leaders, we'll talk a little bit more about these use cases. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next Jyoti, if not, then also before. Stay tuned for the information on our social media channels. There will be more NFTs. There'll be more news about how Scouts are going to the Web 3.0 and what are the new projects we will be doing. Thank you, everyone.